What's up, guys? It's your boy the Muncher here, and today we are on the Norwegian Jewel in Glacier Bay National Park. So all day we're gonna be in Glacier Bay. Actually, correction, 8 a.m. to 12 o'clock is what's listed that we're gonna be in Glacier Bay. And I wanted to give you guys the full experience because Glacier Bay is one of those rare shore excursions, as to say, or docking points, whatever you want to call it. We're not actually docking anywhere, we're just sailing through. So there's not really a port or anything like that, but it's one of the coolest national parks just because people witness glaciers breaking apart, a bunch of ice splitting, such beautiful wildlife, and a limited amount of ships are allowed in Glacier Bay every single year. And we are lucky enough to be on the itinerary that actually allows us to go into Glacier Bay and have a national park ranger on board. So I'm gonna show you guys the full experience. So I was told to come to the Spinnaker Lounge at 7:30 to go talk with the ranger, so I wanted to see what the hype is about. So in this lounge, there are just a bunch of people gathered together to have a watch party, essentially. And over there on the left, you can see that there are binoculars being just tested and sold. And as I continue to walk further down, that is the ranger station. So essentially what happens is the National Park Ranger sometime in the early area of Glacier Bay decide to get on board. There's about 3 or 4 staff, and what happens is 2 to 3 of the staff actually stay at the desk over there, and they start explaining where we are, what kind of creatures are here, and what they are selling, and just accepting donations in general. And then there is another ranger who is going to be with the captain, who's going on the microphone and just explaining all the activities that's going on and just what we are seeing and going into detail and more depth.
Light and variable, 5 knots or less, and seas at 1 foot. And our forecasted high air temperature for today is 56 degrees Fahrenheit, or 13 degrees Celsius.
So he just said it's going to be a high of 56, and it definitely feels like it's getting warmer here. But Google, on the other hand, said it's going to be a high of 36 over here, and a low, actually a high of 40 and a low of 30. So I don't know if you can see that right there, but that is a lot of just chunks of ice just floating around. And it's pretty consistent from what I see. So now at 8:26 a.m. we are going to the bow viewing area. Morning. And this is normally not open, but today it is. How are you doing? And right here, this is the crew hot tub. What I did want to mention is that this area looks empty right now, but later on it gets extremely crowded. And this isn't even the best place to see glaciers, but in more of my opinion, to see animals and wildlife before the ship passes them. So you get to see everything early and then also see the wildlife as it's passing by on the side of the ship. And you want to get here as early as possible if you want to do that.
Currently in Glacier Bay National Park. Your ship hasn't been since approximately 5:30 this morning, when the captain slowed the ship to a stop at our floating park entrance station, rolled down the window of the bridge, and showed his park entrance pass to the park ranger on duty. Now joking, of course, this man and the bridge crew made arrangements for us to arrive at the glacier and spend 30 minutes with one side of the ship facing the glaciers, then followed by a 180-degree rotation and a second 30 minutes with the opposite side facing them. You can tune in on any public area. Particularly rare wildlife sighting here. It is quite uncommon for us to see orcas from the cruise ships, so very exciting that we have this opportunity today. You'll see a number of smaller dorsal fins and then one larger dorsal fin. That's how we determine sex in dorsal fins. The larger dorsal fin animals are the males. However, though they are significantly larger than the females, it is a strictly matrilineal society. Male orcas will spend their entire lives with their mothers and grandmothers, and the oldest female in the group is in charge of all decisions that the pods make. So again, keep your eyes on the water off of the port or left side for that group of orcas surfacing here in Glacier Bay.
Wow, right there. See the disturbance in the water. Yeah.
So while eating breakfast, we saw orcas, we saw a lot of sea otter, and we did end up seeing a humpback whale. The steam was coming out of the blowhole of the whale, and it was pretty cool. I don't know if that GoPro footage completely caught it, but I tried to catch it on my phone. But the window also has some sludge on it, so hopefully we get a better view of it next time if the whale comes around. We got our hot cocoa over here, and we're just enjoying the view over. Hot cocoa is perfect for this.
Yeah, it does myself.
So now you can really see the chunks of ice on the ocean water right here. And it's very prevalent all over. Like, look at this one right here. They're very large pieces as well. And we saw one flip over earlier, and it was very cool. So this is Marjorie Glacier, and you can see those little black dots right there. Those are all seals. So the glacier itself, as the National Park Ranger said, is about a mile wide and 20 miles deep, which is absolutely crazy. And all of this ice that we see over here and the entire way fell about 24 to 48 hours ago. And so we have a few more glaciers to see in Glacier Bay National Park, but we've already seen plenty of wildlife, and this trip has been great. So the ship can get pretty crowded. Like, this is deck 7. This is one of the more unpopular decks compared to the rest of the ship, because deck 13, which is all the way at the very top, deck 12 also at the very top, and then the bow, bow, whatever, however you want to pronounce it, all the way in the front, it's also full. So this is one of the least busiest areas, but not bad. So we left Marjorie Glacier about 35 minutes ago, 40 minutes maybe, and now we are at Lamplugh Glacier right over there. And it's much smaller, but we are out of our way of Glacier Bay National Park. So from this point on, they said there's going to be some wildlife activity. Of course, it's going to be nothing like the morning. There's not going to be that humpback whale that we saw earlier, but there may be a lot of sea otters and potentially even sharks. So let's hope we see that. Now, around this time is what happened that was unexpected. So this cruise ship was also passing by on the way back, but we got to see way more wildlife going back out of Glacier Bay than going in. Around this time, we must have seen about 30 to 40 sea otters total throughout the day. And we saw more orcas, and look, it's another sea otter. See how frequent they just come? But either way, even going further on, through the cruise out of Glacier Bay, we saw multiple whales. And I'm not saying just like one or two. I am saying we saw about 10 to 12. And you could see the steam coming out of the blowhole right there, and it was the most beautiful sight because it was unexpected, and you just saw that steam coming through. And when everybody was expecting just one whale, no, it was just an entire group, and the national park officer announced this to the entire ship so nobody would miss this at all. What was just as cool is that I got to see the tail of the whale, and I'm going to be zooming in on the next clip where the tail splashes the water. And you need binoculars for this trip. It's absolutely necessary. I just have a low-powered camera, so I couldn't capture everything in high-quality view. But this was my Glacier Bay experience. It was absolutely wonderful, and I had the decision of choosing this or Icy Strait Point, and I've already been to Icy Strait Point, but Glacier Bay destroys Icy Strait Point if you are having to choose between those two. And another word of advice is to book this cruise as early as you can in the season, because even though the temperatures may be colder, the weather is far less rainy from what I've noticed, and this is my second Alaskan cruise, and I planned it well enough to the point where I know that there was no rain at all for both of the cruises, and I was very satisfied with the wildlife I saw. So go ahead and please book this at the beginning of the year rather than the end or the summer. If you did like this video, please let me know in the comment section below, because I do want to make more travel videos and like just videos about Alaskan cruises in general. So if you guys want to support the channel, please like and subscribe, and see you guys on the next adventure.